Johnson heads to the pocket. Layup. Johnson. Good.
All right, everybody, welcome here to of course, Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers. Marty's in the house. Jonathan's in the house. We're here to talk about all kinds of sports that's going on in South Louisiana and across the nation, for that matter. Lots to talk about, getting into the final ending of football season and the collegiate ranks, pro ranks, and also the high school ranks. We'll talk about that all coming up today. LSU, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a couple other things that are going on right here in the Louisiana area. LSU, so we all know back in the day, there's a term called blue blood. And I hate that term because it's what have you done for me lately for me. Don't tell me the Oklahomas or the Nebraskas or UCLAs or people like that. A friend of mine used to talk about that all the time, and he said about blue bloods. That would make my skin crawl, okay? Because of the fact that it's what have you done for me lately. Now, if you want to go back to 2000, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. So since 2000, LSU is a blue blood because what have you done for me lately? That's 25 years. But if LSU wants to be a blue blood, they're going to have to act like it. Do they check the boxes? That's what we're going to determine today. The spotlight is on because they got Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin was the number one coach that was available this offseason. Now, is he an unbelievable coach, another Nick Saban? Is he something like that? I don't know. Nobody knows yet. All we can do is just see. So Lane Kiffin comes to LSU, and that's the second time LSU has got a coach from another program in 5 years. Of course, you remember that LSU went after Notre Dame's Brian Kelly, got him away, left Notre Dame to come to LSU. And now Ole Miss, in the thick of the playoffs, loses their coach, Lane Kiffin, to LSU after Brian Kelly was fired. So, again, I think that LSU is, since in the last 25 years, looks like they are a blue blood. So let's find out. Since 2000, Alabama has 6 national championships. That's the most. 6. At number 2, tied for second, is Ohio State and LSU with 3 each. Check the box. Bam. That's good. Obviously, that's great. So that would put them as a blue blood. Since 2000, Ohio State has the best record in all of college football at 285 wins, 51 losses. Alabama is second with 270 wins, 76 losses. Georgia is third at 270 wins, 74 losses. Boise State is fourth at 269 and 67. Oklahoma is fifth at 269 wins, 72 losses. Clemson is sixth, and LSU is seventh at 247 wins and 87 losses. Oregon is eighth, Texas ninth, and USC is 10th. Check the box there. That's 2 for 2. How about SEC championships in 2000? LSU has made the SEC championship game 7 times and won 5 of them, the 5-2. Alabama has been to the SEC championship game 11 times and has won 9 of them. Georgia has been to the SEC championship since 2000 13 times. However, they've won 6 of them. However, they've won 5 they've been to 5 in a row. And crazy, 8 out of the last 10. 8 out of the last 10. That's pretty impressive. Florida has been to 7 and has won 3. So, been to championship game? Yeah, check boxes. Not nearly as much as Georgia or Alabama. But they have been to the SEC championship, I think, the second most times. I think Tennessee is close to that. Since the college football championship, so we'll go 3 for 3. Since the college football playoff started in 2014, LSU has been to 1 college football playoff. Alabama has been to 9, Clemson and Ohio State 7, and Georgia with 5. Even Oklahoma has 5, Texas is 2, and Tulane has the same amount of LSU at 1. That's not a checkbox. Now there's 3 out of 4. Whatever happens with this, Lane Kiffin's got to work. Lane Kiffin's got to work because all the eyes are on LSU. Everybody's talking about it. Troy Aikman was just talking about it in an interview, and they brought up Lane Kiffin, and they brought up NIL and all that stuff just a few days ago. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone has their opinion about Lane Kiffin. So all the deals are on LSU. Now, why didn't Brian Kelly work out? I don't know if anybody knows. Now, I've heard speculation that he didn't do events for sponsors, for donors and all that stuff. I've seen pictures to where I've seen him where he was at those events. At least some of them. All of them, I don't know. Was he playing too much golf? I've heard that about from a million people. Can we confirm that? Do we know? I don't know. I don't think everybody else. You could confirm all you want to. I mean, again, and there's all kind of other rumors about this and that and that and this. Who knows? Who knows? But for some reason, and did he have enough time? I don't think he had enough time. Do I think he could have worked out? Yeah, there's things that he did wrong. The strength of the team wasn't right. A couple of things. We've gone over that for weeks now. So for some reason or another, Brian Kelly didn't work out. Again, out of the 4 years, he wasn't even there quite 4 years. 2 of those years he had double-digit wins, and the others he did not. So we don't know. Now, Nick Saban was asked that. Now, as you know, that Lane Kiffin was asked to be on College game day last week from the SEC championship game. He was supposed to attend. He didn't go. He said he had things to do, lock up coaches, and also get some recruits. It was recruiting week. So he didn't go. And also they asked him, would you like to do it via teleconference? No to that as well. I think he got word what kind of questions they were going to ask him. And it might be true because Reese Davis came out and said that. He didn't come out and say what questions we're going to ask him, but he said that we have questions we need to ask him. And we have it lined up. And they still had a whole segment on Lane Kiffin. And in that segment, Nick Saban said that Belichick always made him do things, look things up. And he said, while he was at Cleveland, and he said Louisiana per capita has more NFL players than any other state. And that has been true for a long time. Is it still true today? Is it still true today? Let's find out. Louisiana used to be number one when it comes to per capita in NFL players. They're not number one anymore. They are number two, though. Georgia is now number one. Alabama is third. Mississippi is fourth. Now, I knew about Mississippi. Alabama kind of surprised me just a little bit because you don't hear that much about it. Now, is it a lot because of the excitement of Alabama football? I don't know. But, I mean, you look at Auburn and Alabama, they're two big programs in the SEC. But, again, Georgia's one. Louisiana is number two. What about total NFL players? Louisiana is eighth because look how big the state is. Compared to Texas with 190, Florida has 176, California has 168, Georgia's 146, North Carolina's 74. Now, North Carolina kind of shocked me a little bit. 74 for North Carolina. Ohio has 65. I always knew Ohio had a lot of talent come out of that state. Alabama is 59, and Louisiana is 58. So that's where the NFL talent is right now as far as that goes. Alabama kind of shocked me a little bit. I didn't think they were close to Louisiana. You hear about Louisiana all the time, and you see what they do in the National Football League. But Alabama's right up there as well. Do they succeed in the National Football League? I don't think so, not as much, maybe because we're not paying attention as much. But right now, Alabama is just one ahead of LSU as far as NFL talent goes right now with 59, and we have 58. So, Jonathan, your thoughts on that with LSU? All the eyes are on LSU right now. Do you think they're blue blood since 2000?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Chris. I certainly do. I mean, with 3 national championships with 3 different coaches, that means it's about the program, it's about the players. And, yeah, I agree. It's if it's not the best job in college football, it's definitely in the top 3. The atmosphere, the support, the facilities, the resources, and the talent that comes from the state. You're the flagship program, no major college program to take other Louisiana kids. So, yeah, I completely agree that LSU is a blue blood program, especially since 2000. And about the Lane Kiffin thing, I was paying attention. Obviously, he was scheduled to go on College game day, but stayed in Baton Rouge and signed Lamar Brown and signed Richardson and retained Blake Baker. And Blake Baker was being named as a new head coach by Garland Gillian, a lot of New Orleans press. So I thought that was a done deal.
Yeah.
So whatever happened with that meeting with Lane Kiffin, I certainly appreciate it. I wanted Blake Baker to stay in Baton Rouge. Thought he did a great job with the defense. And I'm excited, Chris, to see what Blake Baker is going to dial up to go on opposite side of this explosive offense. And everybody's kind of already granting LSU's offense to be really explosive. Just pause the brakes for just a minute. Garrett Nussmeier was going to be the Heisman Trophy favorite to start the season. Of course, that didn't work out. You just never know how it's going to play out. That's why you play the games. But on paper right now, with this staff, who Lane Kiffin is assembling, along with the talent, to me, this is one of the best defensive line signing classes since the Glenn Dorsey signing. I think Richardson's going to be phenomenal in the middle. Lamar Brown, a wreck on the outside. So LSU got all things moving and positive right now if you're LSU fans. Now, they're receiving a lot of hate nationally, mostly because of Lane Kiffin, because they think they poached Ole Miss's coach, mid-playoff. And if LSU wasn't a blue blood, there's no reason to leave Ole Miss. You're 11-1. It's the best season in school history. You're playing Tulane in the playoff as the 5 or 6 seed. And there's a lot been to talk about the committee and the top 12 seeds. I'm sure you'll get into that later, Chris. What a debacle that turned out to be with Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman. I had a lot of respect for Marcus Freeman before this season. I mean, what he did with Notre Dame after Brian Kelly left, I thought it was phenomenal. It was a defensive mind that LSU wanted to bring in before he got the head coach for coaching gig at Notre Dame. So to elect not to play in a bowl, bad for college football. Of course, Tulane and JMU make the playoff. So a lot to unpack there, Chris. But to answer your original question, with everything going for the program, for the facilities, for the stadium, LSU absolutely a blue blood of college football.
No question about that. I totally agree 100%, and I agree that they are blue blood. And like I said, when I say something, I want to bring it with facts. And that's what I wanted to look at as far as win-loss record, national championships, SEC titles. All of that checks the boxes except the college football playoff, only one. And that's why Brian Kelly is gone.
Yep.
And we have to make the college football playoff more. Every year, with it 12 teams, there's no reason why LSU shouldn't be there almost every year. Now, sometimes it happens. Look at Texas this year. Look at other teams that didn't make it that were probably, good to get in there. And Notre Dame is one that we'll talk about coming up in just a moment. But, it's not easy making those 12 teams. And we'll talk about what we think needs to happen to the committee and all that stuff. But again, LSU, regardless of what the fact, the LSU's got to make those playoffs, be very close to playoffs every year. And right now, they're not. All right, when we come back, Kiffin's making moves on coaching staff. We'll talk about that coming up. And he also does a good gesture to Ole Miss. All that coming up here in just a moment as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house. Back after this time out right here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
For a lot of people, going to the dentist brings anxiety. It can feel cold, rushed, even intimidating. We get it. That's why we built something different. We take the time, we listen, we know your name and your story because you're more than just a patient, you're family. You don't have to dread the dentist. You just need the right one. Call or visit FougetFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
The holidays are here, and the Livingston Parish Tourism wants you to know all the activities for your family. The reason for the season. Live nativity scene will be this weekend, Saturday, December 13th from 2 until 4 p.m. as well as the Christmas caroling at the amphitheater from 4:30 to 5:15 p.m. in Denham Springs. Next Saturday, it's the Grinchmas in the Village in Denham Springs. Dress up like a Whoville resident as the judging begins from 5 until 6 p.m. and the winner announced at 6:30 p.m. The Christmas parade continues to roll around the parish. Denham Springs, Albany, and the town of Livingston Christmas parades all on Saturday, December 13th. For more information on these and more events, visit LivingstonTourism.com. That's LivingstonTourism.com. Happy holidays and make a fun run to Livingston Parish today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. As we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, is Lane Kiffin making some of the decisions on his coaching staff. He's not fully finished, but he's close. Offensively, offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr. will be here. He comes from Ole Miss. He was there with him too in Florida. So with that, Charlie Weiss Jr. has been his offensive coordinator for a number of years. Been the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss since 2022. So he comes in, looks to be very good. His co-offensive coordinator is Joe Cox. He's also going to be the tight ends coach. He's coming as well. George McDonald's going to be one wide receiver coach, and then there's an inside wide receiver coach in Sawyer Jordan. Kind of crazy. Eric Walford looks like he's the offensive line coach, but I don't think it's confirmed yet. Frank Wilson has not been told if he's going to return to Baton Rouge as running backs coach. He didn't have a running backs coach yet, but he had one at Ole Miss. That has not been confirmed if Lane Kiffin's going to bring him over or keep Frank Wilson or not. Recruiting coordinator, it looks like it's going to be Dwight Wilson. So if Frank Wilson stays, he could be running backs coach and recruiting consultant. And we need him either way. I really would like for him to stay either way. There's no question about that. Hopefully he does stay. Right now they don't have a quarterback coach at this time. Hopefully one will come soon because they're going to need one, obviously. Everybody needs a quarterback coach. So that's what they have right now on offense. Defense, Blake Baker's returning back on the defensive coordinator. We heard that this past weekend. That was great news for everybody. Like Jonathan said, I thought he was also going to Tulane, his alma mater. I really thought he would return as a head coach of Tulane. They gave him a contract extension and more money to be the defensive coordinator at LSU. Now, Corey Raymond is going to be coming back as DB's coach. That's a big recruiting there, and also he's great. He's a good DB coach. Kevin Peoples, defensive end, will return. Elijah Robinson, the defensive line coach, looks like he's going to be here from – he coached at A&M, but now just comes from Syracuse, so he looks like he's going to be the defensive line coach. Jake Olson's going to be the safeties coach. Chris Kiffin is going to be the defensive analyst. That is Lane Kiffin's brother, Monty Kiffin's son. Billy Gascock is going to be the general manager, and Thaddeus Rivers will be the senior associate of AD of football operations. So his staff is in place right there. And, Jonathan, you and I talked about that. That was huge for him to get Charlie Weiss Jr., who seems to be a very good offensive coordinator with him, but also Blake Baker, defensive coordinator, Corey Raymond, DB. I think for me not having Frank Wilson signed on as running backs coach, I don't know if it's a good sign yet, because to me he would have already made that decision. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, personally, I think they're trying to work out a new role for Coach Frank. I think they want to keep him on the roster, obviously, and he announced that he'll have a decision after the bowl game about whether he's going to come to LSU or move on to greener pastures. But just the signing of Brown and Richardson kind of has me leaning that Frank Wilson is going to be on this staff next season. What that role might be, assistant general manager, recruiting director. I don't think it's going to be running backs coach. I think Lane Kiffin's going to want to get his own guy in, have his own workouts, his own rotation, his own exercises. But lots of respect for Frank Wilson, obviously what he was able to do during his interim head coaching stint, keeping the Tigers fighting. And it's been easy to lay down and roll over, but you saw it in the last game of the season. LSU had no quit. And truly, that's a testament to Frank Wilson and what LSU and the purple and gold meant to him. I think Coach Frank wants to stay in Baton Rouge. You never know what's going to play out. He might get a head coach job somewhere, might get an offer he can't refuse. But in my opinion, I do think Coach Frank Wilson will be on staff for Lane Kiffin next season.
Well, that would be good. Like I said, he's a very good recruiter. Very good recruiter. I don't know about running backs coach or what have you, because the offensive line was so bad this year. Who knows what the running backs could have done. That's how bad they were. I mean, they were really that bad. 4 coaches going to Ole Miss to coach them in the playoffs. I think that's a good move. Charlie Weiss Jr., George McDonald, wide receiver, Joe Cox, co-offensive coordinator, Dane Stevens, quarterback and coach, and then Sawyer Jordan, the wide receiver coach as well, inside wide receiver guy. So those 4 are going. That made national news, and that was a good gesture. But again, if I'm Ole Miss, if I'm going to let them back, well, I might as well let Lane Kiffin back too.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I think that was a really bad move on the Ole Miss part, and I think that they should, like Tulane has done. I think they should have let him come back. If you're going to let 4 coaches, I thought maybe it was just Charlie Weiss Jr. coming back, but it's 4 coaches coming back, and with that, I think they should have let Lane Kiffin come back as well. The Baton Rouge Advocate reporting several players won't play in the bowl game in Texas. Quarterback Nussmeier. Okay. First of all, I agree with that. I agree with that. If I'm his dad or I'm his agent, I'd tell him don't play. Because he's already, first of all, he was a Heisman Trophy hopeful. Everybody thought he would be a Heisman Trophy candidate this year. He'd be going to New York. Injuries and just the inability for offensive line. And I don't know if he put more pressure on him. Nobody knows except him. And maybe the coaching staff with film. But he took 2 steps back, I think, this year. And so if he plays in that bowl game, he could hurt his chances more than he could help his chances. So right now, I say stay out, and it looks like he will. Mansour Delane will not play as well because of an injury. Again, same thing. Keep him out. Jack Pyburn looks like he's going to stay out, defensive end. He's not going to play. He's going to shut it down and get ready for the NFL draft. And linebacker Whit Weeks are all going to be out. All 4 of those are out. Aaron Anderson still up for grabs, big question mark. He's questionable for that game. And then Harold Perkins, will he play? I got a feeling Perkins won't play. I think it'll come out that Perkins won't play. And strong indications that they reported yesterday in the Advocate that he is getting ready for the NFL. Of course he is. Of course he is. I don't think he can only hurt his stock more than help it. For some reason, Harold Perkins was not that player he was in his freshman year. And look, I've watched it. And I've watched his deal. He didn't have that. He didn't have that go. He's still a great player, and I would draft him. If he was available, he's one of the best players to draft. I really do believe that. But I watched a lot of the deals where if a player was going on the outside, a quarterback was going on the outside on a sweep on the right side, he was just standing there. And I even pointed it out to some friends of mine. I put it on my camera on the phone, on the TV, and I look at this. Look at Harold Perkins. Look how he's just standing there. And he, in his freshman year, he was going after him. Every play, he was always 100% on every play. Somebody told him something, don't do all that all the time, or something. I don't know. Nobody knows what happened with Harold Perkins, but he's not that strong a player he was as a freshman. Again, with his ability, I would take him, no question about that. Remember, Bruce Arians had an opportunity to draft the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, and he drafted him. But he said, I'm not going to draft him as a cornerback. That's what he played at LSU. I want to draft him as a safety. And that's how smart Bruce Arians is, and those NFL coaches are like that. Because Bruce Arians said this, when the Honey Badger backpedaled and when he turned his hips, he was a half a step behind in college. Half a step behind the wide receiver, because when he turned his hips, he slowed down. And if you're half a step in college, you're going to be a step to a step and a half behind in the pros. So Bruce Arians said, I'm going to put him all the time facing where he never has to backpedal and turn. He's going to be safety the whole time. And he became an all-pro. So some coach is going to look at Harold Perkins and say, no, I want him on my football team. I think we can make him unbelievable. Will he be a Demario Davis? He has the ability to possibly be, meaning that he could cover everything. Demario Davis could cover all the football field, even at his age. He can go all over the place. He can cover a tight end. He can even possibly even do a wide receiver. I mean, not a strong wide receiver, a fast wide receiver, but he could be all over the football field. That's how great Demario Davis is. Harold Perkins kind of reminds me of him a little bit, but he's going to have to prove it better in the National Football League, I think. So, again, that's what the deal is on that. We don't know who else is going to skip out. I got a feeling you're going to hear more players skipping out of that bowl game. No question about that. All right, when we come back, we're talking Tulane, the Saints, NIL in the SEC, and Notre Dame. We'll do that when we come back. We're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan. Marty's in the house. Back in a moment right here on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
The holidays are here, and the Livingston Parish Tourism wants you to know all the activities for your family. The reason for the season. Live nativity scene will be this weekend, Saturday, December 13th from 2 until 4 p.m., as well as the Christmas caroling at the amphitheater from 4:30 to 5:15 p.m. in Denham Springs. Next Saturday, it's the Grinchmas in the Village in Denham Springs. Dress up like a Whoville resident as the judging begins from 5 until 6 p.m. and the winner announced at 6:30 p.m. The Christmas parade continues to roll around the parish. Denham Springs, Albany, and the town of Livingston Christmas parades all on Saturday, December 13th. For more information on these and more events, visit LivingstonTourism.com. That's LivingstonTourism.com. Happy holidays and make a fun run to Livingston Parish today.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And busy time, of course, bowl games coming up. We have also the college football playoffs. How about Tulane making the college football playoff? I thought that was absolutely unbelievable. A great story. But do they have a chance? Tulane lost to Ole Miss in week 4, 45-10. It was done at halftime. It was done at halftime. Now, look, Tulane has been good. There's no question over the last few years, and we'll look at that coming up. But no Lane Kiffin now. Will that make a difference in this game? Will the score be closer in this game? They've had success in the last 4 years, like I've said. They beat USC in the Cotton Bowl in 2022. They won the American Athletic Conference as well in 2022. In 2023, they tied for first in the AAC but lost in the Military Bowl, and they didn't win the division outright, so they didn't go to the Big Bowl. 2024, second in the conference, and they made the Gasparilla Bowl. And in 2025, AAC champion again and the college football playoffs. They have made a bowl game 6 of the last 10 seasons, and they're 3-3 in that. If they win, they will face Georgia in the Super Bowl. In the Superdome. That's the Sugar Bowl. Wow. Could you imagine that? That'd be absolutely unbelievable. So, all of you Tulane fans, and I'm very happy for you. But the core Tulane fans can't stand LSU. All because of back in the old days when Tulane and LSU played on an everyday basis. And Tulane was dominant, but Tulane was winning. And they were in the SEC, and Tulane was giving them good fits every year. Either they'd win or come close or vice versa. But then after a while, LSU dominated, it was over. So I'll tell you where I went to school, UL, which was USL Lafayette. University of USL back when I went in the 90s and the 80s. But I'll tell you this. Tulane fans, you're not LSU. Just be quiet. There's no other program in the state of Louisiana like LSU. I'm sorry. You're not. You're not as good as LSU. You never will be. I'm sorry. It's just done. And I'm happy that you're there in the playoffs. I'm going to be rooting for you this week. I will be rooting for you against Ole Miss. I hope you win. And I hope you go on to play Ole Miss. Georgia. I hope you play Georgia. I really do. But if you think, and I told USL fans the same thing back when I went to college, if you think we're close to LSU, shut up. You really are not. We're really not. We're nowhere in their hemisphere, period. Like seeing you in the playoffs Love it. But you're not LSU, and you never will be. I'm sorry. It's just made in the cards that way. Jonathan, I know you're excited. You're from the New Orleans area. I know you're excited to see Tulane, but at the same time, I got Tulane fans saying, LSU, you guys have made the playoffs in 5 years. You guys blah, 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 blah. We've won 3 national championships in football. Come on, Tulane. Come on. Celebrate both like I do. Celebrate both like most LSU fans. They're going to be pulling for Tulane this weekend. I mean, do like LSU fans, but Tulane fans are bitter. They're bitter. They don't want to, ever cheer for LSU. Period. And it's really no rivalry there. It really is not in any sport. Baseball, basketball, and women or men's, it's not in any sport a rivalry. And I'd love to still play them every now and then, but it's not a rivalry. Just get it out of here. So, Jonathan, I know you got to be excited that Tulane is in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Congratulations to John Sumrall and his staff. Did a great job for the last few years at Tulane. Of course, John Sumrall took the Florida job, so he's going to be moving on to Gainesville after this weekend. They have no chance to beat Ole Miss, Chris. The players, it comes down to the Jimmies and Joes. It's not the X's and O's all the time. Kawan Lacey is going to go off a huge game, big numbers, and then he'll probably lose the next weekend in the Sugar Bowl to Georgia, and then hit the transfer portal and come to LSU. In the first segment, we talked about why LSU is blue blood, and part of my argument was there is no other school in the state of Louisiana to poach the players from LSU, and Tulane's in the playoff. I mean, Tulane wins their conference, and they make the playoff as the 11th seed. And still, no one considers Tulane to be on the same level as LSU. Now, the committee, I think they had a very tough job. And right or wrong, Alabama was going to make the playoff. Notre Dame, I think, is probably one of the top 12 teams, Chris. But that's why you play in a conference. And if you can't understand the benefits of playing in a conference, then, okay, stay independent. Dominate your schedule, and then see if the committee will put you in at the end. Now there's the new rule, of course, that if they're ranked in the top 12 when the committee's finished, they're getting a playoff spot, which I don't understand at all. But, of course, I've never understood the Notre Dame lore. I guess it was before my time. I was a small child when that movie Rudy was even made. I didn't know who they were talking about. I don't understand the huge hype behind the Catholic school that doesn't have a conference. So I'm happy for Tulane to get back. Sorry, I digress. I'm happy for Tulane. The best colors, the best uniforms in college football.
I like them.
Happy for Tulane fans who, they have a grudge against LSU. There was a slight rivalry in baseball back in 2006 or 2009, but that's long gone too. LSU, obviously, the cream of the crop in baseball. There is no rivalry. I think it's the money. I think it's the superiority complex that comes with having a whole lot of money that thinks that Tulane alums think that they're on any type of the same, like you said, hemisphere as LSU. It's simply not the case. The two schools don't even compete that way. But happy for Tulane. Obviously, It's great for the city. If they made it to the Sugar Bowl, Chris, it would be phenomenal. I mean, it would be a celebration in New Orleans by LSU fans, by Southeastern fans, by UL fans, all pulling for Tulane because they're part of the city, doing great things this season. Unfortunately, I think Ole Miss is just too strong for an AAC team. They played earlier in the season. Like you said, the outcome was not close. Yes, Lane Kiffin is moving on to Baton Rouge, and he's already here doing big things with this coaching staff. But, they don't have a lame duck coach. Now, they named Pete Golden the head coach right away. He did his best to recruit some of those offensive guys back to stay. So I think Ole Miss does have more momentum than Tulane right now. Of course, nationally, everybody's dumping on Tulane and JMU, saying they stole spots from Miami, stole spots from Notre Dame. Look, happy for the kids. Obviously, it's a once-in-a-lifetime situation. You make the college football playoff as the 11th seed. Happy for JMU. I mean, those kids get to celebrate like they've never done before.
Yeah.
But honestly, end of the day, it shows that this system is a little bit broken, Chris.
It is horrible. It is horrible. It's a laughing joke. It's a joke. I mean, and Notre Dame crying like a little baby, taking their ball home and not playing in the bowl game. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous, and Notre Dame looks so bad. So LSU can't be the bad guys. They were at first with taking Lane Kiffin, but now I think Notre Dame is the bad guys. I think Notre Dame is taking that list. Everybody is hating on Notre Dame right now, period, because of the way they've cried over this. Okay? You lost the first 2 games against ranked opponents, and you didn't win again. I mean, you won the rest of your games, but you didn't play against tough opponents. You didn't play tough opponents at all. Now the ACC, because they pushed Miami, now Notre Dame is saying they broke our relationship because Notre Dame plays in basketball, baseball, and all the other sports except football. Shut up. Shut up, Notre Dame. You're not – of course they're not going to pull for you because you're not there in football. Why would you think they're going to pull for you? And then you're going to be upset by it? And the College Football Playoff Committee buckled. They now have made a deal with the College Football Playoff Committee and ESPN, the television partner, that if Notre Dame is in the top 12, they automatically make it in. No! If I'm a president of LSU, I'm going nuts over that. And I'm talking to all the other presidents and networking and say, that's baloney. That's baloney. They should not be able to be that way. No, that doesn't work that way. I'm sick and tired of them. Their lure, like you talked about, is over. Their big game was against USC. That game, Feinbaum said that this week. That big game was against USC that they beat at USC. And that game did not draw more fans than the LSU Vanderbilt game. Sorry. Your lure is done. Y'all time is done. I'm shocked that they did what they did last year. I really am. Because they put all of their effort, all of their money they get, they put it in academics, which you're supposed to. But other schools don't do that. And resources and making sure they have the best facilities and this and that. Notre Dame don't do that. That's why they haven't been relevant for a long time. To me, now, do they deserve it over James Madison and Tulane? Yeah. But are they the top 12 teams? I don't think so. Because, again, they schedule cupcakes.
Yeah.
They
Right.
schedule cupcakes, and I'm sorry. So it's got to go by strength of schedule. The committee, to me, needs to go.
Yeah.
I just think they're just messing up. I think they're horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to go back to the old days of the computer.
Yeah, and who would have thought that anybody would be clamoring for the old BCS system? Bring back the computerized results. Because, this committee, I mean, it's way too subjective, one. But you hit the nail on the head. If you're in control of your own schedule, if you don't have a conference, you can cherry pick your opponents. You have to run through the schedule. You have to dominate your opponents and let everybody know you're one of the top 12 teams in the country. And Notre Dame simply didn't do that.
No. And now the ACC commissioner is, I'm sorry, and trying to mend the fences there. What do they bring to the table? They don't have a good basketball team usually, a good baseball team. I mean, they have made the College World Series a couple of times. But, I mean, so is Clemson. You got a strong ACC and basketball and baseball. You don't need them. Hell with them. I'd say the hell with them. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And, again, they need to be in a conference. There's no question about that. And I'm telling you, for me, the committee, you either get a conference or you won't be in the playoff. I'm sorry. Bottom line, the requirement is you have to be in a conference. They're all going nuts that the SEC didn't have 9 games until coming up next year. Well, you ought to be going nuts that Notre Dame is not in a conference. And they get to keep all the NBC TV money. So it's not revenue sharing and all the bowl money that they would do. And so they didn't go to a bowl game. That's, again, not getting your way. It's a rich, spoiled brat. That's what they're acting like. And you have to have money to go to Notre Dame. That's a rich, spoiled brat, and they're showing it all over the area. All over. And it's sad. It's disgusting. It's sad. It makes me hate Notre Dame even more now. It really, really does. For the Saints, Tyler Shuck getting better and better and better. Obviously, a lot of the NFL players are saying his speed is deceptive. They didn't realize he can run as fast as he can. On film, it looks like he can't run that fast. I mean, he runs decent, but not that fast. But Tampa Bay can tell you he runs fast. The 2 touchdowns that he got, it was his first 2 rushing touchdowns in his career, and I'm telling you, everybody was going crazy over it. I saw videos of Tampa fans getting ticked off, Carolina fans getting excited because now Carolina's getting closer to Tampa Bay to winning that NFC South, and I got to be honest with you, I'm pulling for him. I'm not pulling for him this weekend, but I'm pulling for him because of the fact that I don't want Tampa to win the fifth NFC South. If they win 5 in a row, that's the first team to ever do that. Carolina has won 4 in a row. Then the Saints won 4 in a row right after that. And now Tampa Bay's won 4 in a row. Only one that hadn't done that is Atlanta. So, but if Tampa wins the division, it's a 5th one in a row. And right now they are in the lead in that, and I'm hoping that changes soon. I really do. I hope they don't win their 5th one. I got to pull for Carolina. A lot of people thought that Atlanta would be that person. I look for 2 things to happen in Atlanta this year. I look for their general manager, Terry Fontenot, to be fired, and I look for their head coach to be fired. Because a lot of people thought that Atlanta would be the team this year competing for Tampa Bay in the NFC South. It's not. It's Carolina. And so they're right behind on that. And Jonathan, this is going to shock you. You ready?
Yep.
Hold on to your seat. Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson are finally playing good football. Chris Olave is not dropping footballs. He is a possession wide receiver, which I like. He can get down the field good. Olave's not dropping footballs right now. And also, Juwan Johnson's not either. I mean, right now, Chris Olave has looked the best he's looked. And look, he was injured. That was nobody knew if he was going to play in that game against Tampa, but he played. I'll give him credit where credit is due, and he's playing better than I've ever seen him play. I like what Chris Olave is doing. He's fired up. He's excited. I like what he's doing. I'm very excited about that. Juwan Johnson also playing well. Juwan Johnson catches the ball, and he gets popped, and he still holds on to the ball. My goodness gracious, where has that been? Unbelievable. Right now, if the NFL draft would be held today, the Saints would pick 7th. But they still got a lot of big key games coming up because right now it'd be the Raiders, the Titans, who Saints play the Titans, the Giants. We already beat the Giants, but the Giants have 1 less loss than us. The Browns, the Jets, we play the Jets as well, the Commanders, and the Saints. That would be the top 7 right there in the NFL draft if it was held today. They have winnable games left. They can beat Carolina. They already beat them this year. They can beat Carolina. They definitely could beat the Jets because both Carolina and the Jets are in the Superdome. Tennessee is on the road. Tennessee has an interim head coach as well this year, and I think that the Saints can beat Tennessee, but it's in Tennessee. Saints hadn't won there in a while. And then the last game of the year is in Atlanta, and that's a flex game, which I'm assuming it'll come out soon. The time, it'll be on that Sunday, probably at 12 noon, because, that flex game is like we don't know if it's going to be a Saturday game or even a Monday night game because they could be competing for the NFC South. That's not going to happen. Both of them are eliminated for the playoffs. So with that, I'm assuming it'll be a 12 noon game on that final Sunday, and that'll be the first Sunday in January. So your thoughts on the Saints with Tyler Shuck, man, 2 big rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck has been impressive, and to me, his pocket poise has been the most impressive thing from a rookie. Obviously, he's an older rookie, but he understands his movement, where he needs to get outside the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield. 2 rushing touchdowns, had a long one. I think it was 35 yards. Deceptively quick. I think he's a better athlete than people give him credit for. The way he avoids pressure. Look, Tampa Bay, they get after the quarterback. Vita Vea, one of the best in the NFL, right in the middle, commands a double team. But I thought the Saints' offensive line actually did a pretty good job with the game plan. You got to give credit to Coach Kellen Moore. Tyler Shuck only had 20 pass attempts, and Devin Neal had 19 rush attempts. I mean, it was a balanced attack.
Yeah.
The defense played very well. Obviously, Kool-Aid McKinstry had the big 4th down stop. Demario Davis still playing out of his mind. So happy at 56 that he's still playing at a high level. But what are you doing, Saints? You're playing yourself out of a top draft pick. I mean, you found your guy in Shuck. Okay, if you like him, perfect. Draft around this man. We've got to start accumulating rookie players on rookie contracts that have talent and contribute. That's the only way you get out of this draft capital, black money, dead money hell that Mickey Loomis has had the Saints organization in for the last 10 years. You got to draft talented players, have them contribute on rookie contracts, get the most you can out of that contract, and then either re-sign them or let them move on for something a trade possibility later on in the line. But Tyler Shuck, I think he's done a great job. And you mentioned Chris Olave and Juwan Jennings. I think this entire team has picked up their effort ever since Tyler Shuck became the starter. We saw what we saw from Spencer Rattler. I'm not trying to throw shade at him, but the proof is in the pudding. You know, you go 1-11, your team kind of just gets into a losing mindset, and winning, just like losing, is a mindset. And I think right now the Saints just want to compete for the young kid because they see him competing each and every down, flushing the pocket, taking hits, running downfield, lowering his shoulder. When he tried to get low and run over that safety from Tampa Bay to get into that end zone, that shows how much it meant to Tyler Shuck, and the whole team can feed off of that, Chris.
Yeah, and you're right. And, and I'm just looking at right now as you're talking, and I'm listening to you, what you're exactly saying. I said the defense is not playing bad right now. I mean, the defense is actually playing good. They'll give up a touchdown or two, and then they'll just shut down. So I think that defensively right now they're playing pretty good football. And I'm just looking at it right now, they're 13th in the NFL as far as yards given up, 313.5 yards a game.
Yep.
That's 13th.
Hey, could you imagine what we would have said if Drew Brees would have had a 13th overall defense?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah. And he had it 1 year that I can think of, and that's at the 09 Super Bowl. They were middle of the pack.
Yep.
And I always said that with that offense, if they can be middle of the pack, this is a Super Bowl winning team.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, we didn't have it when their best year in 2011. Everybody went nuts over 2009 season, but the 2011 season, everyone says, all the Saints players say that was their best season, period, and that's when they lost to the 49ers in the divisional round of the playoffs. They had a very good football team at that time, just defensively, and then Greg Williams is gone. You could see Greg Williams and Sean Payton got into it a little bit on the sideline. It was over. So, again, I think defensively they're playing well. There's not many things they have to do on defense. Obviously, Cam Jordan is talking about, well, maybe I need to consider going to somewhere else, and he talked about that in the media. Cam is a big talker. He probably was frustrated about the season and the loss at that time. This was not this past week, but the week before. I'd have to look at Cam Jordan too. I mean, is he producing as much to where he's getting – because he's getting paid like the second and third highest in the team.
Yeah. And truly, Chris, I think this has been Cam Jordan's most productive season in the last 6 seasons. I mean, he's had multiple sack games. He's had pressures, playing much more this year than I thought he would have to with Carl Granderson and Chase Young signing that re-signed contract. But, still some gas in the tank. But, look, Cam, if you want to test the waters and bring that contract with you, we're going to miss you, and thank you for everything you did for the organization. Yeah,
no question. I think DeMario Davis they're going to see, they're going to have to see if we're going to be able to re-sign DeMario Davis. Is he going to want big-time money still? I don't know. That's going to have to be between DeMario Davis and the team. But to be honest with you, if DeMario Davis is going to want an arm and a leg, then I'd have to say goodbye because age-wise, he'll be 36. How much longer can you do this at doing what you do? Right. I mean, right now you're playing at a great level. There's no question, like you said. The guy is unbelievable. But, again, how much longer can you do this? And if you're going to want to play more, we can't afford to pay you big-time money. One of the top linebackers in the National Football League. NIL and the SEC. Are we seeing a change? Well, it's weird. ESPN had USC number one for the recruiting, but 24/7 has them ranked further back. So the question is, and we've talked about this, with NIL money, will the SEC to continue to compete? Because look at the SEC schools and where they're at. There's not a lot of money there. Now, there is a Texas with Austin. Texas A&M obviously has money. Georgia probably has money, too. They're not far from Atlanta. Vanderbilt had a pretty good recruiting class. They're in Nashville, Tennessee, a big place where you got a lot of business industry, and now they're excited about their football team. So NIL may be a big, a big reason why Vanderbilt's picked up right now. Gainesville's not a big area, and then you got Miami. So Miami's playing Miami, is paying for Miami players, and they're thinking about a new stadium too. By the way, they've got a billionaire who's a big Miami Hurricane fan. So, but Gainesville doesn't have much. Baton Rouge has oil money, and LSU's the big place where everybody loves LSU in Louisiana. So you're going to get oil money for people that not only live here in the state still, but also live in Texas. Are going to donate money and what have you. But other schools, like I've said, Alabama. But Alabama had a good recruiting. So right now, NIL is not affecting these smaller states. Like Georgia was number one. Texas was number one. Georgia was number two, and Alabama was number three. LSU finished at number 10 in the 24/7 poll, and they finished 15th or 14th in the ESPN poll. Again, you can only go by certain things. It's really political how that turns out. Anytime when you're in the top 10 and especially top 15 or top 20, you're looking good because you don't know what those players are going to do. You don't know what they're going to do. So LSU had a good recruiting class with a new coach. And now it looks like Troy Aikman said, you used to go to a school, to a team, one for the school and two for the coach. Now it's more for the coach. I mean, for the team, anything. A lot of players are going for the school and not going for the coach anymore. So I don't know. All right, when we come back, we've got high school football coming up. We got our Pick'em segment and a whole lot more coming up as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan, and Marty's in the house as well. Back after this, right here on Pelican Sports TV. The holidays are here, and the Livingston Parish Tourism wants you to know all the activities for your family. The reason for the season. Live nativity scene will be this weekend, Saturday, December 13th from 2 until 4 p.m., as well as the Christmas caroling at the amphitheater from 4:30 to 5:15 p.m. in Denham Springs. Next Saturday, it's the Grinchmas in the Village in Denham Springs. Dress up like a Whoville resident as the judging begins from 5 until 6 p.m. and the winner announced at 6:30 p.m. The Christmas parade continues to roll around the parish. Denham Springs, Albany, and the town of Livingston Christmas parades all on Saturday, December 13th. For more information on these and more events, visit LivingstonTourism.com. That's LivingstonTourism.com. Happy holidays and make a fun run to Livingston Parish today.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're back here to Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers. Time for Pick'em. I got off to a great start, undefeated a couple times. A couple times I went 5-0 or 4-0, or 5-0. And now I'm starting to pick with my heart. I picked Tampa. I'd love to pick the Saints last week, but I picked Tampa, and we all know what happened there. You picked the Saints to win that game. I went 3-3. You went 4-2. So right now, totally for the year, I'm at 37-15. And Jonathan, you're catching up. You're 35-17, my brother.
There it is.
Army versus Navy. Game is always a big tradition. So, see, for me, it's the only game this weekend in college football. College football playoffs should start this week. You won a championship before January the 1st, or right at January 1st, right around that January area. To me, college football playoffs. Can you imagine the NFL taking off a couple of weeks?
Right.
That's so stupid.
Yep.
And can you imagine, so Georgia and Alabama got to play in the SEC championship game while the other teams get to rest?
Yeah.
What kind of crap is that? That is dumb. I mean, this college. I guarantee you, I could put a dart tournament together at a local bar and come up with a better system than this. This is horrible, horrible. All right, but let's go Army and Navy. I got Navy winning this game. Navy's had a good year this year. I got Navy winning this game.
Yeah, I'm basing my pick solely on uniform, solely on the helmet design alone. I'm taking Navy. Incredible design with the ship on the side. Give me Navy.
Yeah, it is great. Carolina at the Saints, the Dome. Can the Saints win against Carolina again? This game is in the Superdome, but Carolina is playing for something different. They're playing for an NFC South title. Now they've won. They've been doing pretty well. They've beaten some pretty good teams. They upset the Rams. So I'm going to go with Carolina winning this game on the road at New Orleans.
Yeah, the Rams, they got Nico Dowdle. A kid came in for Chuba Hubbard, took his job. He's had an incredible year. Great on fantasy. I picked him up midseason. But give me the Hoodats, the black and gold, riding the momentum. Tyler Shuck, great so far in his pro career. And the Saints at home in front of that crowd. There's going to be a lot of Carolina Panthers in town, but give me the Saints at home.
This could be a big game, the Bills and the Pats. This game will be in New England, and right now New England is fighting with Denver as the number 1 seed in the AFC. They're a lot better. The game will be, again, in New England, so cold weather out of this because both are used to cold weather, so that's out. The Bills have not been playing like they should. There's no question about that. Is their window of opportunity closing? And everybody wanted Joe to be the coordinator or to be the head coach here at LSU, but guess what? He's in trouble. The Bills are not being offensively like they normally are. I'm going to go with the Pats at home on this game.
Yeah, if this game would have been in Buffalo, I would have gone with the Bills in that snow. But since it's in New England, Drake May playing great this season. Give me New England, making a strong push to the playoff, like you mentioned, right at the top of the AFC.
Green Bay and Denver. How does Green Bay continue to not only get coached to compete, but how many quarterbacks can they have? That's 3 great quarterbacks in a row they're having. 3 in a row. That's crazy.
Yep.
They've been playing good. They've been playing, had a big win over Chicago, but that game was at home. Now they go to Denver. Is Denver a team right now that they're, like I said, right now they're the number 1 seed in the AFC because of tiebreakers and all that stuff. But right now they're the number 1 seed in the AFC. Can Green Bay go into Denver and win that game? I say no. I got Denver winning in the Mile High City.
Yeah, I'll take the Broncos myself. They've squeaked by with a few close games, but Will Lutz continues to kick confidently for Coach Sean Payton and the rest of those exiled Saints. So give me the Denver Broncos to win in a close game.
Baltimore and Cincinnati. Cincinnati has been playing a lot better since Joe Burrow has come back. No question about that. Baltimore has been playing bad. They lost a big key game this weekend. Can Baltimore go into Cincinnati and win? Cincinnati's playoff hopes are just about done. I'm going to go with Cincinnati on this one and win at the Jungle.
For parity's sake, I'll take the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. They were so close last week. Mark Andrews, the great tight end, leads the organization in touchdown catches, breaks up what would have been a game runner to DeAndre Hopkins. So I'll take the Ravens, even though I love Joey B, Jamar Chase, and the rest of those Bengals. They haven't played consistently this year, and I think it's going to bite them at home against the Ravens.
Phillip Rivers at Indianapolis. He's signed on the practice squad. 44 years old, just got his birthday the other day, and he's a grandfather.
Right.
For God's sakes. Boy,
Yeah.
As many kids as Phillip Rivers has, and now his kids are having kids, they got to get more TVs in that house. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not watching TV at all. Pelicans, same old team, most of the games. They lead most of the games, and at the end, they blow it. They need a good coach that can coach, and they need a player or two that can close the game. Big high school football championships this weekend. Number 2, Riverside versus number 5, Ascension Catholic. Number 5, Dunham at number 6, Calvary Baptist, all in the Superdome. And how about this one? Edna Carr at St. Aug on Saturday, the last game at 3:30. That'll be an unbelievable game. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Rocks and fires. Tommy White with it. Johnson heads to the